morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Medley number 236. Hey, what's up, Mickey? Oh my god. I was looking for that yesterday. I couldn't find it. Hold on, hold on. So it starts. Hey, what's up, Mickey? I actually usually do, Mickey. I usually do have more. It's just a slow day. But thank you, Mickey, for the support. I appreciate it. Maybe. Wow. What is that chord? Because I would like to be able to go to that one and the other one. That's great. So. I'll come back to that later. Is that song yours? All the songs that I play in the stream, Mickey, are my songs. I don't really play covers, so yes, that song is mine. Ah, the parrots are back. making or have made? haven't eaten a Pop Tart in a very long time. I'm not a really big Pop Tart fan. I don't know that I ever was. I think that I liked Pop Tarts solely based on the amount of clout that they possessed on the playground. I like that all the kids seemed to like Pop Tarts. But then when I kind of had a minute alone to myself and actually had to ask myself if I truly enjoyed Pop Tarts, the answer was no. A lot of things have been this way. Pokemon was actually this way. I had to ask myself a couple of years ago, do I really like Pokemon? The answer was no. monitor died. My monitor died in the stream, guys. I need to go get my. I need to go get the power supply for my laptop. That's wild. I'll be right back. Does anybody off the top of their head know when season 2 of Fall Guys starts? Oh, it shut completely down? Oh, that's gonna take forever. I never play Roads anymore. That's like what I always went to. I don't know what happened. There was a grand shift. There was a grand shift where I started using more piano sounds than Rhodes. Okay, there we go. Yeah, does anybody know when season 2 starts? It says the 8th of October. Oh, that's soon. Yeah, new maps and stuff, and new costume pieces. Going from that into that. Okay, so there's these so there's two. Is he gone? How did that happen? Okay, so there's two um speakers on this keyboard. Um and this keyboard sits here for a really long time. I live in a desert city, so rooms get dusty, and that means dust gets inside, the grating of the speaker, which sucks because when you think about most speakers are pointed out like this, so you can't really get a lot of dust in the cone. But these speakers face up like a plate, so they just collect dust. There's nothing I can really do to keep it from collecting dust. And some of you that have been around for a pretty long time will remember when I took a huge break from music, where I just wasn't feeling it at all, and I wasn't playing this keyboard in particular very often, so it got very dusty. And this is before I started covering it with a towel and I wasn't using it. So that said, there's a lot of dust in both of these speakers, but since I play so often, the dust is constantly getting tossed around, and it makes like these perfect little marble-sized dust balls. I guess if you have a lot of dust and you constantly keep tossing it around in like a closed space, it just forms like a perfect sphere. And so now they like look like little marbles in there. Like each one just has a really big marble that when I play a lot, I can see it tumbling around inside the cone. It's really interesting. I wish there was some way I could get it out of there. I mean, without taking apart the whole keyboard. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Cyber. I hope he's okay. That he stays healthy. I actually don't. I admittedly don't know a lot about it. Yeah, I don't know a lot about it. So I know when you get it, I don't know exactly what you're supposed to do and what helps what, but I hope the best for your brother. I'm sorry to hear that, Cyber. Hey, what's up, Crow? I didn't see you in here. Wow, that was a long medley. I mean, the medley went for pretty much the full hour, so I'm pleased. I'm pleased with it. No, no disappointments here. Wow, this weekend was. Chilling new seasonal adventure circles around the origin story of the villagers and Skyfield with friends. For prophecy style. What's a prophecy trait? That's not new. Is it out or is it out? I think it's out. Okay. How do they do that? Yeah, I don't understand what they were doing. Um. Yeah, word up. I guess keep me updated. Cyber. I don't see how that. I don't see how that changes the melody at all. guys. I think I'm gonna. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take them down. I have like these little cloud lights that line the top of my room, I guess you would call it, like the ceiling part. They've been up for a while now, and I think I'm going to take them down. I just don't use them. I don't need them. They're not cool to me anymore. They're, if anything, they make my room look tacky now. I think I'm taking them down. I think I'm gonna throw away a lot of stuff today, actually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do like a spring cleaning. Is it spring? I think I'm gonna do like a cleaning out, throw away a lot of stuff. What were they talking about? It does fit. What are they talking about? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. The cloud lights. Oh, yeah, I want these things. They have my hair in them. They fell on the floor. This is kind of gross, I guess, but they fell on the floor at one point, and now they have my hair in them. Like, a lot. I tried to, like, de-omni hair them, but because my hair's so nappy and cotton batting is fluffy. Oh man, what a combination. What a combo those two make. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out, guys. I was listening to I'm doing this official remix, right? Somebody sent me the things to do the remix with. And I'm doing it. I promise I'm doing it. But something's bothering me about it. This thing, a lot of people will be able to relate with the thing that I'm about to say. There is this like wall between your art and everyone else's art. Now, art can be anything, right? It can be food, it can be music, it can be a painting, it could be a hairstyle, it could be a drawing, whatever. Art's art. There's this weird wall between your art and everyone else's art. And everyone's art is different, but sometimes in your brain, in my brain, in an artist's brain, the difference between your art and everybody else's can seem more like a binary difference instead of an overall world of variety, right? Like it's like the rest of the world's art and then there's my art here. And you can think like, why does my art not fit in with the rest of the world's art? When in actuality, I don't think it's like that binary of a thing. I don't think it's that your paintings are like not on the same level as somehow everybody else's paintings. Maybe there's a little bit to that, sure. Maybe like you need to practice, maybe you need to get better. That's weird. I like that though. Interesting. this remix, I'm like doing a reference test where I'm listening to like my remix and then I'm listening to the original, and there's like there's something missing, you know? Like, what am I not getting here? What is it? I think that stereo imaging has been something that I've been fascinated with without necessarily understanding the right ways to approach it all the time. Stereo imaging, guys, for those of you that aren't familiar, and making music is just kind of like making the music sound more like it surrounds you as opposed to it just coming from one source. You know, think about when you're in somebody's house and no, think about listening to music from a iPhone speaker and then think about listening on a surround sound system, you know. Giving you that full immersion into a song is very meticulous and it's very tedious sonically. You have to do a lot of things like stereo separate, maybe reverb helps a little bit, maybe having delay here, maybe panning something to the left, panning something to the right. There's a lot of ways you can go about achieving that. But stereo imaging, I have always felt that other music in the world contains more sonic imaging than my music, and I don't. I feel like it's this weird like this curve, not an exponential curve. It's like this weird bell curve where I feel like I keep getting closer and closer there, but no matter how much time I spend in music, I still don't have music that sounds, you know, professionally imaged, if that makes sense. Everyone's art is different, but it feels like you're the odd one out. Yeah, Ram, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You get it. It's weird. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough stuff. I had this talk with somebody else about their animations. They were just like, I feel like everybody else's animations are so much better than mine, and there's like this weird secret. There's like a secret that everybody knows except me, and if I could just figure out what this one secret is, my stuff would look like and feel like it was on par with everybody else's. And I was like, yeah, I definitely, I can definitely relate to that. I hate being able to see my hair. I know a lot of people won't relate to this because a lot of people have longer hair than mine or different hair than mine. I imagine if you're white and your hair is even shorter than mine, you kind of get used to seeing it all the time. But I had never seen my hair. I didn't see my hair for the first time until like 2016 was the first time I could see my hair, and it was like it was a whole different world, and I liked it for a second, and now I hate it. Like if I can see my hair in my peripheral, it bothers the heck out of me. Hey, what's up, Josh? Oh, welcome back to the fold. Oh. Mastering. Even when my stuff is mastered, it doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like that. It's weird. And I think that part of it is psychological, guys. I do think part of it is just like my inferiority complex, where I feel like everybody else's music has a stronger identity and more presence than mine does. But I know it's not true. You know it's not true in your head, but still you look at it or you listen to it and you think, God dang, I know it's not true, but boy do I feel that way. I swear I wrote a second part to this song and I can't remember what it was now. It's bothering the heck out of me. my power bill, my electric bill has been so high the past 2 months, and I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm being hacked or like sabotaged or something. I haven't been doing anything. I don't know why the electric bill's been so high. I haven't been running AC. I haven't been living. I don't get it. Oh boy, I'm gonna start getting into some new stuff. I'm trying to start getting into some new stuff. What a sleepy stream. So last Friday we worked on more plunderphonics, Cybersyn, and some vocal work, some vocal recordings that I ended up chopping up. So then some vocal things that I chopped up and put into a plunderphonic song. I usually don't do any production outside of the live streams, but I'm trying to gradually get out of that habit. I do think that it's helped me. It's helped me in that it's like allowed me to recharge. You know, anytime that you can change up your workflow, whether it be a very dramatic jolt or a more subtle shift, anytime you can change up your workflow, I would encourage anybody to do it. So that's what I was doing for the past couple of months. I've been only working on production. Actually, it's been longer than 2 months, but I've only been working on production during the production streams, so that basically any Omniboy work I do is recorded. This is fun for me because it allows me to have constant reference points, right? Like, if there's ever anything that I didn't remember making, or I wanted to see how I came up with it, it exists somewhere on YouTube. You know, I can look up the right production stream and go like, ah, yeah, that's how I came up with that. It's nice to have a record of things. If you're going to be working on projects, I encourage people to save several versions of each project. So you're never saving over anything, you know. I like having things to be able to go back and reference. Now, I did open Free Loops yesterday, or the day before that, and work on some music. Save if I had storage, says Josh. Yeah, that's pretty important to have. I have a pretty big hard drive, and I also have an external one. But anyways, point is, I don't save all the videos, right? Because that would be a lot. You know, 6-hour videos plus 4 2-hour video. No, 4 2-hour videos. So 8. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would add up. That would add up really quick. Jesus Christ. 14? I can't do that. Anyways, it would be 14 hours of video every week, and that would crush my hard drive. So I don't save it. It gets saved on YouTube, which is nice. But the point that I'm making is I did work on FL Studio stuff yesterday. Although it wasn't a lot of production stuff. It was just a lot of mixing. I think it's actually nice to not mix too much in the production stream. Now, if somebody wanted to know how to mix, or somebody had mixing questions, I could do it in the production stream. The problem is I'm wearing podcasting headphones, and it can be a little hard to get an accurate feedback from those headphones. And instead of like making music on the headphones, then turning my headphones off and turning on my monitors and then actually mixing, instead of doing that, because I don't want to do that weird thing to my ears where you keep going back and forth between two reference points and then you get lost in which one even sounds better. Instead of doing that, what I usually do is I do a lot of production and arrangement and songwriting in the production stream. And then after the production stream, now I'm thinking I will just have a completely separate solo Omni moment where I am mixing everything. Maybe that's something that I could do like in a different place. Maybe the mixing stream can have a different home. I don't know. if I just want to like stream everything all the time. But I'm thinking about doing that because even the what do we call it? Not Sprunk. What's the one with Cyber called? Scrunky, Scrumpy or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, that song. When I was mixing it yesterday, it did have a lot that needed to be fixed on it, and there's still like this really weird. Like I even did a little bit of rearranging of the song. Um, I did some rearranging of the song. I didn't write any new material. All I did was like move some stuff around because I think there's this very specific feel that I'm going for. I don't know. There's kind of like two different approaches a lot of times to not only plunder phonics but a lot of like my houseier stuff where like you want it to be very full and sustained sounding, like full and sustained, or you want it to be very like choppy and jittery and stuttery. And I think that a lot of that comes from the way you're performing your chord progression, right? Like you can have a house beat. I wish I had it in this stream. I mean, I'll do an example of it in Friday's stream, which I know is like years away right now. But if you have like a house beat and you play over it, you play. I can see that being like a disco thing. That would be like more of a long sustaining version. Or you can go. And it seems like a very, very small change, but that can change the entire energy of a house track because the drums aren't going to change, right? If you're making a house track, the drums aren't going to change. But if you change like the way you're playing a chord, it completely moves the energy. And on the cyber track, I started moving around the guitar part that I played on there. I think the guitar part was like wait. That's it, right? Why does it feel wrong? There's a guitar on so many of my tracks now. I keep using like the wah wah guitar. Anyways, point is, I'm gonna start doing mixing post the Friday production stream, and when I have the Friday production stream, then we will have a review. There will be a review at the top of the stream, and instead of only having the review at the very end after I've made everything. Um, yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it as far as like production. What happened in the Friday stream and this weekend. Other than that, I had a really off day this weekend. One of the days was very off. What is this? But moved up here. Sorry. There it is. All I did was wander around. I had a really off day, and usually when I have off days, I get lost. So I ended up just walking around Alhambra. It's impossible to get lost here because I've lived here too long and I just know where everything is. But I did walk pretty randomly. It was just a weird day. It was a weird day. So the weekend wasn't dope, and then I played some more of Genshin Impact. I mean, whatever, right? The game's okay. Yeah, I wasn't feeling the day. The game's okay. I do like the game. I do like the game. I can honestly say I have never played a Chinese game. To my knowledge, Chinese video games are not a thing that I delve into very often, and it definitely has a feel. It definitely has a vibe that no game I've played has ever had. So that's pretty interesting. Um, and one of the vibes that it has is free. I love free. That is totally my vibe. Free games that don't have a retail price. People have like issues with gotcha games, which I also do. I feel you, America. Gotcha games blow. I hate gotcha games. They're the worst. But I think this game makes up for it in gameplay. I believe it does. Also, even with it being a gotcha game, I don't know if this is all front loaded, but there are a lot of like it does help you out a little bit, if that makes sense. I've never been a fan of I've never been a fan of like getting a free game, i.e. Apex Legends, i.e. Fall Guys, i.e. Any of the plethora of very good quality free games we have to choose from now. I've never been the person that gets the free game and then pulls out my debit card and buys like a cool wizard hat to wear in the free game. Never really been that type of person because those are all cosmetic. I appreciate games that are free to play but have cosmetic things you can buy because then it's like, hey, if you really want to spend real money on a wizard hat that doesn't do anything in the game except makes you look like someone wearing a wizard hat, then knock yourself out. I think sometimes becomes a little upsetting when there's like paywall-y type stuff for game content where it's like, oh, do you want to be able to use this attack that actually is really important and powerful? It's going to cost money. And it's like, you don't have to use that attack. You can beat the game without using it. But man, would having it make the game a little bit easier. I would say that Genshin does that. But, you'll get no money from me. I have a landlord that I have to pay. That's my DLC content. Having a roof over my head. Jesus Christ. Genshin Impact. What does that even mean? What does Genshin Impact mean? It doesn't seem to mean anything. It's just like two random words thrown together. Alright, guys. I need to eat some type of breakfast. I think I'm going to do waffles today. It's been a while since I had a good waffle. Yeah, I saw that one other one did, Cyber. I saw that they had another game that had Impact in the subtitle, and everybody was like, "Are these two games related?" And they were like, "No, just for whatever reason, like MiHoYo always puts Impact in their game titles." That's a fun chord. What is that? I'm sure it has a complicated name. I'm not gonna like, but it's very pretty. I think that covers all the news, guys. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Today, I am going to be working on commissions after I finish this stream. At some point, probably in the late afternoon. But immediately after the stream, I'm gonna have some breakfast. Then I'm gonna clean and go ahead and clean the house. Genshin is Chinese. Literally means origin god. I guess that has to do with the opening cutscene. Okay. Wait, Cyber, are you playing this? Are you playing this right now? Oh, word up, Cyber. Yeah, there's a lot of gods in the game. The game seems to contain several gods. In fact, I would say that the game is honestly very confusing. But I think the game is very confusing because it uses a lot of Eastern, as it should, because it's a Chinese games. Chinese games. It's a Chinese game. It uses a lot of Eastern mythology to like build its thing on. You know how like a lot of games that aren't necessarily just straight up God of War will have a lot of like Greek mythology woven into it, and we're like, yeah, I get it. I know what Zeus was. I know what Hercules was. So I get what they're doing right now. This seems to use Eastern mythology as its setting, so there's a lot of concepts that the game just kind of like breezes over. And then I was like, the game's not telling me much more about like, what is that? Who is that? And then I look it up and somebody's like, oh yeah, this is a reference to this like Chinese god So that's why he uses this staff, and that's why he appears as this animal. And these people, yeah, they're just this game's version of what those people are in real Chinese history and mythology. And I'm like, oh, like there's straight up, like I don't think this is spoilers for anybody that's gonna play it, but obviously, just like any other MMO you play, a lot of the towns and races mimic or emulate real life places and races. Like the first town feels very European. There's like knights and stuff like that, and there's a castle that looks very European. There's like a cathedral that looks very Catholic. And then in another city, it's just straight up China. Like it just everything looks Chinese. All the people's names are suddenly Chinese instead of having names like I don't know, Beowulf or whatever. They got Chinese names, and a lot of the stuff they do it very closely emulates China. And so, as somebody that has very, very limited knowledge of China, there are a lot of things there I was like, oh, I get what that's supposed to be. I get that this is supposed to be like a New Year's festival or ceremony. I get that oh, I see the dragon. And then there's some other stuff that I was like completely lost on. Like, I didn't get it. So, um, I, uh, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the game. But I will say that some of it was confusing / is confusing to me because I have very limited knowledge of Chinese gods. I can't name one Chinese god, by the way. I can't name one Chinese thing. The only Chinese thing I know is Sun Wukong, and that's not a god? Question mark. I don't think the Great Monkey King, the Demon Monkey King, is a well. They did give him godhood at a certain point of his story, but he's not in this game, so it's at least not as far as I am. I don't know. That one Journey East game that runs on Unreal 4 looks incredible, and it was entirely Chinese developed. Journey East. I haven't seen this game that you're talking about, but I will say that when somebody said Genshin Impact, when everybody was like, Anime Breath of the Wild, I remember seeing one video that was like, hey, check out this Anime Breath of the Wild, and I looked at like 2 seconds of the video and I was like, 1, I don't care. 2, I've never even played Breath of the Wild, so this joke doesn't appeal to me. 3, it's probably going to be on Switch, so I don't care. So I kind of dismissed it. And then it comes out, and it's like really good, and people were like, oh, it's Chinese. And I was like, and it sounded wild because I honestly said out loud, I'm sorry, but I did say I didn't know China made good games. I said that, and it didn't. I wasn't saying, "Hey, China doesn't make good games." I just said I didn't know. I didn't know that they made good games. That and Genshin Impact, for being a gacha game, yeah, whatever. It's wildly impressive. Like it makes no sense that this game is this good and free. Now I know there's parts of it that you can pay money on, but I just feel like I keep doing things on the game, and I keep thinking to myself, this shouldn't have been free. Or like, I shouldn't be able to do this. This doesn't feel right. And it's Chinese, you say? Who is this company? Nothing about it feels... You know what it feels like? It feels like a trick. When you get the game for PlayStation, guys, when you get the game for PlayStation, the little thumbnail that shows up when you want to play the game doesn't even say Genshin Impact on it. It doesn't say Genshin Impact on it. It's not even like this really cool like cover art with all the characters. It's like an extremely close zoom in, like a cropped image of one of the characters, like part of their face, and it says the name of the company that made the game on it. It doesn't even say Genshin Impact. When I downloaded it, I saw that and I was like, oh, this is about to be dumb. This is about to play like Brawlhalla or something. It's not about to be a game I want to play. It's going to be super whack, and it's going to feel broken at all times, but it's going to be cute, I guess. And then I fired it up, and with like each passing hour, the game somehow got better. You really need to see this and tell me you aren't impressed with the graphical presentation, action sequences. Oh, word up! I'll watch it after this. After this, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it right now. But why is China making good games? That's dope. I'm into it. I feel. I want to learn Chinese so bad. Point is, the Genshin Impact is really good. I hope whoever has the time to play it plays it and enjoys it as much as I have. My one complaint about the game that isn't really a complaint, I feel like it was, everybody was like, multiplayer, and so I was thinking, when I saw the world and how big it was, I was like, oh, this is going to be like an MMO. but it is not a traditional MMO. It is not that. You can jump into somebody else's game and play with them, and like run around the world map and play dungeons and stuff like that. But it is not an MMO. You're not just going to be walking around and run past random people. But China's crushing it. So if I'm 50 one day and I'm learning how to speak Chinese, you guys know why. This is cool. This is really cool. I think this, the things I've said for the past like 5 minutes will be very scary for somebody else to see. I know a lot of people are very afraid of China and America. I know America has a lot of like xenophobia towards the East in general, but specifically towards China right now. But man, if they're not making good content. And I mean, to be fair, I have been a fan of their movies for a really long time. There's a lot of Chinese movies that I feel like are very, very good, super beautiful, very impressive. But gaming was just not something I saw coming from that. Oh, heck yeah, Cyber. Cyber, you reminded me. I was supposed to go to Taiwan this year. Isn't that sad? I was supposed to tour to Taiwan. You know how badly I want to go to Taiwan? There's 3 very specific places I want to go, and also, I wanted to meet that lady. You know what lady I'm talking about? The lady that invented boba? I wanted to go meet her. I don't know how easy it is to do that, but I wanted to meet her. So bad. She doesn't like people treating her like a celebrity. If there's any way that I could do it in a chill setting. Oh, wow. Anyways, what was, yeah, I want to spend more time in China. The only problem is, here's the problem. If we're talking about, Eastern, oh boy, I'm gonna have to be very careful. Let me tread carefully. If we're talking about Asian countries that weren't heavily colonized, I don't. I would say China is the one that I feel the least comfortable in because Japan, I at least speak enough Japanese that I can like work my way around. And it's like I've played there before, I know people there. Korea is so westernized that you can kind of get away with not speaking Korean, but I still would like to learn. That's beside the point. But like specifically Seoul in Korea, it's just so westernized and very touristy that you can kind of go anywhere you speak English. People are pretty cool or forgiving for the most part. And it doesn't feel like this huge shift culturally. It honestly doesn't. I mean, if you've been outside of the country, you know that there's cultural shifts anywhere, but I'm just saying going from the US to Korea, South Korea specifically, doesn't feel like some big like culture shock, like you're not thrown out of the loop. Now, China is a lot bigger, right? So there's lots of cities within China that differ largely, vastly from one another. So it's really hard to just say China is blank or China does blank, because China is very vast and diverse. But I will say, I don't know any words in any language, in any dialect spoken anywhere in China. And I feel like I don't even know anything about the culture. I know a little bit about Korean culture and Korean history. A lot of it makes sense to me. The people make sense to me. I know quite a bit about Japanese culture, Japanese history. A lot of it makes sense to me. The people make sense to me. China is so old that in my brain, China is like, there isn't like a cool YouTube video I can watch that's going to inform me on China. And at least with like Japan, like we're all people, right? We've been kind of like spoon fed or like drip fed Japanese culture for the past, I don't know, 50 years. Like there's always Japanese stuff here, whether it's anime or Pokemon, it's video games, it's foods, it's candies. We all kind of have been doing the Japanese thing. Consumption, I should say. Consuming the Japanese thing. China, not so much, right? Like, we eat Chinese food on occasion, but as far as, like, Chinese movies that anybody can name that they've seen, or Chinese video games anybody can say they love, or Chinese TV shows, Chinese dramas that people watch, it's a very small bucket of people that are actually learned up or immersed in Chinese culture. And coming from somebody that lives in a Chinese neighborhood where I would say I am part of the minority of people who speak English. And I'm not going to say it's a huge minority, but I would say at most 40% of us speak English. And then the rest, yeah, it's Chinese and a little bit of Spanish, but Not a lot of English spoken here, especially outside of my cul-de-sac. So I think I just think I just don't know enough. I don't know very much, and I would like to know more. We talked in a previous stream about cultural exchange and how a big part of cultural exchange is acceptance. Acceptance from the outside world, from people that are from the outside. Acceptance is part of cultural exchange, and the funny part about that is that being born and raised in America, cultural exchange, I view cultural exchange very, very differently than the average person probably would. Right, Josh? Right, Cyber? You view it maybe a little bit different because it's like here, there's so many cultures on your block. There's so much representation. I mean, Americans and America are always pushing for more representation, more representation. But all things considered, you know, things are being represented here to some degree, to a pretty large degree compared to a lot of other places. Hey, what's up? Is it Kamui? Kamui, maybe? LA is cool because they have all the best cultures nearby. Right, like everything kind of mixes together. Hey, what's up, Cloudless? Okay. Everything kind of mixes together. Um, but I think that if I lived in a place that was a way more homogenous, I use the terms homogenous used to describe Japan, maybe describe parts of China. I would use to describe parts of Korea. Um, Basically, any country seems a little bit more homogenous than the United States, but some more than others. And I think when somebody wants to learn about a new culture or participate in a new culture, usually in America, for the most part, it's allowed. If some random black dude wants to open like a pizza place, like an Italian food, people aren't going to be too upset about it. They'll be like, whatever. If a white person wants to open up a taco shop, people will be like, it's fine. Yeah, do your thing. If for the most part, there's lines, but the lines are pretty weak and they're drawn really far off into the jungle. I think that places that are a little bit more homogenous are generally, I'm saying generally, a little bit less accepting of people coming in from the outside, not because they're xenophobic, but it's seen as way more extreme. It's seen as more of a transgression than it is here, right? Because here everybody's doing it all the time, versus there a more homogenous culture. They don't get a lot of people from the outside, so when you do come from the outside, it's just noticed more. Maybe it's not hated more or less tolerated, but it is noticed more. It's seen as like a thing instead of just kind of like a nothing event that you wouldn't pay too much attention to. Cyber says lots of Asian stuff, lots of Mexican stuff, lots of African stuff, imports from other European countries, money, fame. Yes, Los Angeles has it all. The glitz, the glamour, Tinseltown, baby. Don't know why my name has changed, says Cloudless. Oh. Word. Anyways, point is, cultural exchange is very important to me. It's very important to me to be able to walk into a culture that's not mine and not own anything, but to walk into a culture that's not mine and say, hey, I genuinely want to know about this thing, or I want to care about this thing, I want to participate in this thing. And then for the people in the culture to go, okay, can somebody educate him? I'm busy. And then somebody comes over and they give me a little bit of education, or they just give me like a hall pass where it's like, go educate yourself, young ignorant one. We're gonna mind our own business, but let us know if you need anything. I like that a lot, and I feel like the opposite obviously would be going into a culture that's not yours, that you didn't come from, that you don't belong to, and then everybody kind of looks at you side-eyed and goes like, what are they doing here? Can you get them out of here? I think that that's what I don't particularly like. And going into more homogenous zones, right? If you walk into a room and you're the only black person in there, or you walk into a room and you're the only teenager in there, or you're the only woman in there, or you're the only college dropout in there usually does seem to be a bit of like, there's like a wall there, like a barrier, where it's like, I hope these people are cool. hope these people are going to be accepting of me. And so the idea of like um, China has always felt pretty off limits to me. And I don't, and that's definitely maybe more maybe omni psychological thing. Like it's not even informed by the world around me, but it has felt. Sorry, I'm just witnessing something really weird. This window is a curse. Oh my goodness! Does anybody use OfferUp in the in the um in the chat? Does anybody use OfferUp or like Facebook Marketplace or anything like that? I'm sorry. I've never used it before, but clearly this truck of two dudes, like older gentlemen. Let me use the term gentleman. Older white gentlemen got pulled up to the cul-de-sac in a truck, and we're buying though. You know those things that you like. It's not a full elliptical because you don't sit. You just are supposed to sit in a chair, and it's just the like bike part that you put your feet in. Anyways, um, I guess the girl across the way was selling one of those and like came out and started walking towards him. And the guy was like, "Oh, so you couldn't do it for 20, huh?" And she was like, "No, I had a lot of offers." And then like as he was talking, his like mask fell a little bit to his chin, and he like held his arm up and like jumped back into his truck and like closed the door and rolled the window up. And while I was watching him like adjust his mask, it was very funny. Anyways, I should probably start ending things. We've been here since 11 a.m. I mean, since 9 a.m. and it's almost 11. Done the 2 hours. We got the 2 hours in. Um. Uh. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of like marketplace offer. I mean, I just don't really. I'm not. I understand that like thrifting, buying things used is like a big part of us, and it's very very good for people that can't afford other things. I think that there are certain things in my life that if I can't afford it, I just don't buy it instead of buying it used. I think usually when I'm buying something used, it's like a button-up shirt. Uh, it's kind of it. That's kind of it. I don't. Yeah, I don't really like marketplace and stuff. I don't really like eBay. Maybe if it's like an Oswald thing. I've never bought any of my Oswald stuff used, but if push came to shove and there was a piece that I really wanted, I would buy that used because I'm not really gonna touch it. You know, I'm gonna like Lysol it and then put it in a cabinet somewhere. Okay, anywho, guys, I do have quite a bit of music out. Signals is an EP that I have that's very like jazzy. It's got love letters on it, stuff like that. I also have one called Tall Tales, which is more experimental, and I have one called House of Omni, which has nothing but collaborations on it. It has a song called Embrace that I've put in so many other songs. I don't know what it is about that song, but like the composition of it and the different layers make it so much fun to sample because there's just so much going on. Really complicated songs are some of the most fun to sample because you can get a lot of cool little snippets out of them. Um, Also, I have the Dream series, right? So there's Nice Dream, which is like indie pop. There's Love Dream, which is just a bunch of love songs. There's Speed Dream, which is a short story I wrote where I did the score to it as well. There's Daydream, which is like orchestral breakbeats and drum and bass. There's Lush Dream, that's more chill, loungy beats. And then I have Ego Death, which is very ambient, and Quick Breath, which is more of like a housey pop EP. Cloudless asks a question. Says, "What inspired your track 'Don't Go'?" It's funny, Cloudless, because I was just talking about sampling "Embrace," right, and other songs, and Oh, I swear, there's something on me. That song, Don't Go, samples another song as well. Don't Go samples. It's Sixella. It samples Sixella, and I think it plays it backwards. It plays the outro of Sixella in reverse, and that's how I got the song Don't Go. I would say that Button Willow and other exercises in sampling my music is what inspired Don't Go. Don't Go doesn't really have any lyrics. Um, it's just kind of like an ambient romp. And I think the thing that inspired it was just, yeah, sampling myself. Cloudless, a lot of Lush Dream songs are samples of myself. Button Willow being a sample of Embrace, and Metrolink being a sample of Shoto Clone, and Don't Go, as you brought up, being a sample of Sixella. And while I was sampling myself, I was basically trying to come up with different moods to bring to a lot of those songs. And that is why Don't Go exists. The title was just kind of, song sounded somber, so I gave it a somber title. But it wasn't really informed by anything other than that. Yes, please vote, everybody. Oh no. Sorry about the audio thing. I didn't know that happened or how that happened. Um, yes, please vote, everybody. Let me. I'm gonna play Hush Hour now. I do need to scroll up also so I can watch this game, but just in case I can't scroll up. What's the name of the game again? Journey East. If I may ask, how do you get your sounds on FL? If it's not too personal question, I was just wondering how I can get different sounds other than the stock ones. That's a kind of a complicated question, Cloudless. That's a kind of a complicated question, Cloudless, because you're asking, how do I get my sounds in FL? When you say sounds, that's a lot, right? There's drums, there's strings, there's synth patches, right? There's a lot, like the saws. There's just a lot going on in an FL song. But I have been working in FL for a long time, Cloudless. So some of these sounds, if I'm being honest, I don't remember where they came from. Maybe you're asking where a specific kick comes from. Maybe Ehi gave me that kick when I was working on a song with Ehi Robo. Maybe the kick is a kick that I made when I first started making music. Thank you for resending the link, Cyber. When I first started making music, Cloudless, this was like, this wasn't when I first started making music, but a long time ago when I was making like electro house and complextro. What I did was there was a drum pattern in the beginning of a Calvin Harris song, and I just uploaded the whole song into FL Studio, and it started with just a kick pattern. So I just X-Acto knifed around the kick and threw the rest of the song away, and I used that kick as my kick. Now I changed the transient of it a little bit, but that was my starting point for one of my kicks that I was using in like Bon Bon, Cloud Surfing, like those songs. So my drums, my samples, like I have a sample of a kid saying, hey, I have a sample of like a dog barking, bird chirping. A lot of them have different sources. They come from all over the place. Um, for example, Cloudless, I don't know if you were in last Friday's stream, but I made a sound using Cyber's voice. So that sound came from Cyber. And then I supplemented it with one of the voices from the sample taken from the movie Groundhog Day. It's just a lot. It's a lot when it comes to things like people talking. I'll sample my own voice. When it comes to drums, sometimes I'll record myself slapping two things together, and I'll take that sound. It really is just a lot. But if you have questions about production and sampling and the sources of things, I would implore you to try to make a Friday stream. I know a lot of people are busy on Fridays. I try to make the stream as long as possible so that maybe I can You can catch it after work or before work or after whatever, school, before school. It is 6 hours long, but try to come into a Friday stream. Um, I'll be able to answer a lot of those production questions in just a better way, because I know I'm trying to answer it now, but it'll be easier if you were in Fruity Loops with me and said, like, that sound, where did that come from? And I could source it for you. But um, right now, the question, as is my answer, kind of is a little vague and open-ended. Hello, Easy Door. Thank you for making it to the very end. At least you made it at all. I do appreciate it. The bulk slash game looked really, really cool. Like, strangely cool for me to have never heard about it at all. Like, it looked like a lot of fun. And it just looked good. Like, fun, completely irrelevant or unrelated. Like, it just looked good. Like, the game looked cool to watch somebody play. Something about the way the spread of your little robot versus the city, and that, like, parts of it made me feel like Mega Man Legends, like when I was looking at the trajectory of some of the bullets or the missiles. I don't know what you're shooting. Um, but I wish there was like a modern version of a game like that. That'd be so cool. I just wish we had a good mech game. Period. Like if anybody crosses any good mech games, let me know, because I just feel like they all leave something to be desired, and I'm not even sure exactly what that something was. But that bulk slash game felt like part of that. Anyways, I hope my answer helped, Cloudless. Thank you for asking it. But yeah, please make it into a Friday stream. Cloudless wishes they could play games on their PC. Yeah, I don't really play games on my PC. My PC is strictly for music. I don't even really look at Netflix or anything on it anymore. But yeah, get a gaming PC. Maybe what is it? What is a Bezos's big day out or whatever they call it? The Amazon version of Black Friday. Maybe get like a thing then. I'm getting bored of my PS4 stuff. We should play Fall Guys sometime for sure, Cloudless. Cloudless, I feel like I saw you on PS4 yesterday. I was like on Genshin Impact, and I feel like I saw you on something, or maybe it was 2 days ago. Beside the point. Anyways, that does cover all of the news, guys. Tomorrow I will be here for 2:37 morning medley at 9 a.m. We'll be going for another 2 hours or so. I hope for everybody to have a good word Genshin, baby. I hope that everybody does have a good rest of their Monday. And thank you as always for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh, yeah, no, hold on. Let me open this really quick because Cyber did go through the trouble of resending it. I'm gonna end the stream, but I'm gonna watch this right after. Game science, huh? Game science? So they even got like game dev names I've never even heard of? That's cool. China's cool. China's doing it. Game science. That's funny, actually. It doesn't sound real. What if it's not?